We played music in the break, and for some reason we're talking about mixtapes. Remember what? You're telling your summer. Breakout author Zakiya Dalila Harris is riveting readers with her eye-catching page-turner, The Other Black Girl. How does it feel, your debut novel?
I mean, it feels surreal, honestly. I've wanted to write ever since I was 5 or 6 years old.
The novel, based in a New York City publishing house, tells the story of 26-year-old editorial assistant Nella, who at first is forced to navigate being the only black employee in the office.
Nella was born and raised in New England, very much got used to being around white people for most of her life. And then Hazel, the new girl who comes to work at Wagner Books, born and bred in Harlem, has been around black people all her life, has really cool dreadlocks, just exudes this blackness. So when Hazel comes into the space, she has this assumption like, okay, we both got into this very white world somehow.
Diving into Nella and Hazel's daily lives on and off the clock, the book tackles microaggressions and workplace politics.
I wrote this book for black women who've been in those workspaces, but really anyone who's been in these kind of spaces. I mean, what it's like to have to go through certain things on your own.
There was a really poignant line. You wrote, it would be great to have another black girl working at Wagner, the publishing house. But Nella was hesitant to do a celebratory electric slide sequence just yet. Over the last 2 years, the only people who'd been interviewed or hired were very specific people who came from a very specific box.
Yes, there's also the burden, kind of a feeling like you have to speak for all black people in the world when you're the only one, which is like, is it a self-imposed burden versus one that people actually ask for you to do?
How much of you is Nella?
So much, maybe too much sometimes.
Zakiya used her own experience previously working in a Manhattan publishing office to bring attention to common workplace challenges, including hair. We're in the Honey Salon in Harlem.
Yes.
Because hair
yes.
is it's almost a character in itself.
Yes.
In your book.
Yeah. I grew up, like Nella, my main character, in very white spaces in Connecticut. So for most of my young life, I wanted to have straight hair like all of my white friends. And so I really wanted to explore, of course, through Nella, the ways in which like hair is supposed to be the thing that brings them together.
You're getting such rave reviews. Brilliant, twisty, highly relevant. So what impact are you hoping to have with your book?
I want readers to come away with another example of what blackness can be, what black women can be.
Now being adapted into a Hulu series, co-written with actress Rashida Jones, Zakiya says it's a launchpad for deeper dialogue. Suspenseful. I know it's been called what? A cross between Get Out and Devil Wears Prada.
Yes.
Your hope is at the end of this book, when you close the book, that you're going to want to throw it against the wall and have a conversation.
Yes.
What do you want that conversation to be?
I want readers to talk about diversity and workplaces and how to make those spaces not just more diverse, but how to retain that diversity and make it an environment where people can be themselves. I want it to be better for black women, for people of color, any marginalized groups that are not really represented the way that they should be in these workplaces. Anyone who ever felt that they were the only, or they were, not felt that way, but they were. And if you didn't know it, you wouldn't be able to tell this is her debut novel because she weaved in so many different timelines, which is very complex and very difficult to do. Just 28 years old. And she's also a little old school. Her first draft, written by hand.
Wow. Oh, I love that.
Written by hand.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we have some of her work that you saw that she did by hand. Yeah, right there. Isn't that amazing?
Incredible.
So many folks can relate to that story. She said she wrote it for black women, black girls, but a lot of people in the office, men, women, and otherwise, have been in that position. You make it, oh, I'm the only one that looks like me on this floor.
Workplace
kind of
politics.
Yeah, and a cross between Get Out and Devil Wears Prada. I'm in.
All right, and as always, be sure to keep reading along with us at our Instagram at GMA Book Club.